What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, Conscious crew? It is your favorite breakdown commentator, Consciouztv. Welcome to another riveting episode. If you are in the building, you already know what to do, child. Give me a old nasty piece of thumbs up on this video. It don't cost your cheap self nothing, honey. Hitting that thumbs up button allows YouTube to do its job like it should be doing all the time, in which it does not. In recommending our wonderful kingdom and our content out across the YouTube verse for other YouTube foreigners so that they may be recommended the channel and or the content, okay? And if you are a godly person who don't have a lazy bone in you, also copy and paste and share this link out to all of your social media communities. Pornhub, Big Bitches Need Love Too, Plenty of Fish, Snapchat, Facebook, Adam for Adam, Tinder, BGC, Jack, Janet, Jack Me Now, okay? Wherever the hell it is that you get your rocks off, okay? We don't discriminate against any full free promotion over here, okay? And if you are definitely new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because trust me, we're going to be here for quite some time, and this channel gets very litty and gets very interesting, and we give a lot of diverse content over here, okay? So I got a feeling that you will want to return, okay? Now, as you guys are feeling in the room, we have some things to get into today. I am going to warn you beforehand, you guys, that tonight's commentary may be a little bit triggering, as I know that 98% of all social media users and viewers, okay, want to see Fupa more absolutely destroyed, baby, okay? I done had about 85% of the beef sector alone, okay? Tell me to tell Larry to absolutely obliterate Fupa like the Phoenix did in X-Men Apocalypse when she disintegrated Apocalypse the mutant. So there's a lot of people invested in the outcome of Larry's Reid litigations with the more, okay? When I say triggering, I mean that, well, I'll explain that further into the commentary. Until then, let's get warmed up. Pop our pussy, get loose, pull out our drinks, relax our egos, move our emotions out the way, and, you know, also be a little bit receptive to letting the devil use us if need be tonight as well, okay? All right, let's get it started, honey.
Hey, what's up, Larry, baby? Listen, this is just a little remix to remind you that you are still the shiznit. So don't even worry about Darryl the Bomb and his B-Team minions, because you had a purpose before they even had an opinion. You still got much love out here, and you are still winning. So let those haters hate, and let those trolls troll. Wow. They are just mad because they will never ever rise to your level. Y'all haters ain't on his 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 level. You ain't on his level. Here we go. We're gonna start with Darryl Moore. You ain't on his level. And I'll say your name, cause from the pits of the hell you came. You's a dirty old man. You came up with a lame ass plan. You tried to take Larry down, with a proof that was unfound. Shame on you. Find something else better to do. Cause that same ditch that you dig in is the same ditch your ass gonna fall in. You recruited El Carter, and his dumb ass ain't no smarter. And as a matter of fact, I think you want Larry's feet in your crack. fellas, looking like Hannibal Burris. You're always making threats, but ain't never done a damn thing yet. Ain't you that gutter snake who made fun of Larry's rape? You'll say it ain't so, but when we saw you on a video, shut the hell up and sip your tea, because a badass you'll never be. All you do is talk shit with that lame ass 18 clip. And now we got big little Kim, who really just wants to sit in. I won't go in on you, sis, but you're so much better than this. And Roxanne, Darryl don't wanna be your man. He is just using you because he needs a clicking of you. Y'all haters ain't on his level. Y'all niggas ain't Black Mr. Clean. Y'all haters ain't on whoever the hell y'all be. You ain't on his level. Y'all the biggest haters I ever seen. Y'all niggas ain't on his level. Y'all haters ain't on his level. You ain't on his level. Y'all haters ain't on his level. Y'all haters ain't on his level. Y'all haters ain't on his level. You tried it though, gotta give you an A for effort, but you really got an E for epic failure. Now go cry in the car.
Okay, hi guys. Okay. Hello to everybody in the chat. I see Information Man. Shout out to Information Man. You guys make sure to subscribe over to Information Man. We was engaging in some brother polite commentary, and Information Man was giving us the 411 on y'all favorite hotel. Last night over on his platform, had some really great guests come up and speak some perspective and give some nuance to Brother Polite and things that have happened prior to the recent controversy, honey. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out in that particular litigations, okay? It's so many of y'all in the chat that I cannot even begin to call y'all by name. So I just want to welcome everyone. Someone mentioned earlier that I sound tired. So remember when I told you guys I had an update and a announcement? I want to make that announcement before we get into the meat and potatoes and into the minutia, honey, of this dialogue here is I have relocated, you guys. I now reside in a rural part of Alabama on a lot of acreage. Remember when I was telling you guys that my dude lives up north and he was moving closer and blah, 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 blah. And I was talking in passing. Well, we have been looking at homes and he found us a wonderful country home where I can be isolated and be buck wild in the wilderness and run naked and be magical and cast all types of spells and curses and damn all of my enemies straight into the pits of hell. Okay, so I had all of my things that I was taking with me already shipped out over the weekend. So I'm fucking exhausted because I've been doing nothing but packing and shipping and moving shit around. It is like so much going on. And that also means that I will not be able to be a visual content creator probably for the next few weeks because literally the house is in array, obviously. Like there's nothing set up. I don't have a space to really record in. So I will be still doing content and giving you guys audio until I can somewhat get my production room together. And then I will be live and in visual color so you guys can see all of this God-given glory, okay, that I know y'all all enjoy seeing, okay? So once I get this media room set up here, like it is going to be really, we're going to be off the chain, honey. It's going to be some upgrades to the platform, girl. We're taking it to the next level, honey. CTV about to be out here for real for a time in these streets like I've been wanting to do, okay? So things finally moved around and came into place. And you guys know I'm moving motherfucking silence, honey, okay? So I just want to let you guys know that. And I also want to shout out to all of the contributors, PayPalers, Cash Appers. Thank you guys so freaking much for your love and sowing into this ministry. I could not do any of this stuff without you, honey. I put a lot of the donations that I've been getting actually into this production room. And I'm super, super, super excited because I'm going to be able to do just a lot of things regarding my social media life in general that I've been wanting to do. So yes, shout out to the Conscious Kingdom, honey. Okay. Now, oh my God, Majority, thank you so much. You guys are cash apping now. Thank you guys so freaking much. I love you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There's a lot going on in my life, like a lot of great things, child, but that's another day. That's another story for another day. Okay, we'll get into, you know, a little bit of all of that over in Patreon and everything. Okay, and yes, even though I have a man, I'm a king and I'm a queen, so that means that I'm allowed to have many, 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 many more men. Okay, I come from the philosophy that the more the merrier. So I plan on having lots of boyfriends and lots of concubines. Okay, so men, just keep that in mind. Okay, but don't be doing too much. Okay, because some of y'all negroids, some of y'all horny ass negroids, just been trying to blow a bitch up on Instagram and video chat me and ain't even said hey yet and shit, girl. So, girl, I be trying to be more friendlier than what I am known to be, because as a Scorpio girl, I'm very, very much so reserved, preserving, almost on the stuck up side, girl. I really don't be doing human beings like that, honey. I'll be on my introvert shit, but I'm trying to get a bit more social, honey. But you know, niggas just be smearing. They just be smearing and smelling the salivating aroma of the boy puss, okay, through the screens, honey. These niggas just be sending their dick pics and their assholes and all type of things and debaucheries, honey. So I don't even be opening up messages highly these days. But once again, girl, that's a Patreon conversation. Anyway, let's get into tonight, child. So this conversation is going to be really triggering, I'm sure, because I already know how a lot of the Conscious crew members feel. I already know how a lot of the LILers feel. I know what you guys really want, okay, because y'all express it to me all the time, and y'all express it to Larry all the time. But mediation is happening now. For those who not in the Patreon, honey, what I'm not gonna be doing is going over shit that I already done gone over. And if you just not nosy enough to pay $5 to get your nosology on, honey, and to put that good degree in nosology to use, honey, then you're just gonna be missing out on, you know, where things are going. Because I don't have time to be like giving major recaps every time that I have to come and give an update and give you guys, you know, a plan for the forward moving and things. So what I am going to say briefly is that if you don't know where we at by now, jump your ass into the Patreon and scroll down to the post that says play-by-play, because I gave you guys a play-by-play of the pre-trial, okay, that took place, the pre-trial conference meeting that took place between Larry Reid and dilapidated, down low, broke-ass Fupa Moore. Okay, now initially, I thought that the pre-trial conference was going to be open to the public. We thought that it would be, but at the last minute, they said that it was not. Then I thought that we was going to be able to at least give the playback, at least of the audio, but wasn't able to do that either. So I pretty much had to give you guys a motherfucking quote by quote of what took place, baby. It was a lit quote by quote. A lot of things went down in pre-trial, honey. Pre-trial was really something that you had to see for your goddamn self. Now, what happened out of pre-trial is that Larry got everything that he wanted, including the granting of a jury trial that will take place in April of 2022. Okay? Now, what had popped off from there is that Fupa had fucked around in pre-trial and had asked the judge, who was completely disinterested, might I add, about his counterclaim against Larry. And the judge asked Fupa questions that Fupa had to answer honestly, unfortunately. So the judge said, well, you know, how much did you lose? You know, what were the damages done, baby? If you guys want to see me reenact the way that Fupa anxiety level and depression level went up when he realized that he had to answer honestly to the courts because he in fact petitioned a counterclaim and unlike his sour ass paid for viewership ass platform, he could not lie to the courts like he can lie to YouTube, girl, because he know that the feds is going to truly investigate and call in financial advisors and experts like they are doing with Larry, okay, to affirm those punitive damages, baby. The way that Fupa spider walked like the goddamn exorcist, baby, down that goddamn panel wooding, girl, when he realized he was gonna have to tell nothing but the whole entire godly truth, not only to the courts, but that he was gonna have to tell the whole entire ungodly, shame the devil ass truth before his arch nemesis, who was sitting dead in his face on a Zoom call, looking him dead in his motherfucking eye for all the piping hot tea that Larry knew was about to come out of this dry throat bitch ass throat, girl. When I tell you, girl, that Fupa got the stuttering, ciphering, girl, that he got to getting all a crooked and squiggly line and shit in his motherfucking energy, girl. When I tell you, honey, that it was as if time had stood still, bitch, and Fupa was existing and saw all eternity, baby, because he was about to shame the entire devil with the truth for once in his motherfucking life, girl. And he told Judge Gwin, girl, you ready? He told Judge Gwin, is you ready? Girl, when he had to tell Judge Gwin that he went from a monthly income of roughly, as a middle-aged man with insurance and rentals and mortgages and basements to pay and provide for, that he went roughly from $1,400 to $1,500 a month to about $500 to $600. Girl, y'all could have closed the motherfucking casket, girl. You could have, girl, close the casket. Close the casket, girl. Now, if you want to see me get deep off and expound a bit more, baby, you just got to jump into that Patreon and get up into that play-by-play, baby. Because, baby, when I tell you at that point, girl, baby, everybody was casket ready and had them close the coffin and threw the dirt on top of their damn self and put the tombstone up, girl. When I tell you that it was a self-burial, girl, in the room, girl. When I tell you it was as if everybody slid slowly down out of their chairs onto the floor, girl. And had passed it all the way out, girl, and took a little quick recess, girl, to regroup. When I tell you that the whole truth, girl, get into the Patreon, girl. So this is what led to mediation. Because when Judge S. Gwin heard this sandal-wearing heifer, who let me just set this up a little bit more for y'all, who was, it's hard times. Even $5 is a stretch, these days. We in a situation right now in the country and things, so money is tight. So let me just set this up a little bit, okay, for those who wasn't able to be blessed by Patreon, girl. The day that we gave the play-by-play, honey, is you got to keep in mind that Judge S. Gwin was asked by Fupa about his counterclaim when, after Larry got done talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, honey, we went from big boss and big checks to now swinging over to the left, okay, and having to go from hundreds of thousands of dollars in big boy talk and rich nigga talk Okay? Jay-Z is $1 billion on the elevator ass talk, girl. Okay? We had to go from Larry's $1 billion ass girl to the whimpering, absolutely dreadful, despicable, and pitiful monthly income of Mrs. 1997 Hyundai rental driving Fupa, baby, and her measly $1,400 that got reduced to a roughly $500 to $600 off of a baseless claim at that Larry been dragging her, and she done lost about $500 to $600 of her $1,400 monthly income. Somebody make it make motherfucking sense, bitch. Smart parts, Dream 511. Those were broke parts in the room, baby. Okay? We went from rich nigga parts to broke nigga parts. Baby. I almost prayed for that nigga. That's what I almost had did for that nigga. Now, when Judge S. Gwin heard this debauchery, he scratched his head and he spent 25 whole minutes talking to Fupa about how mediation would probably be better suited for him than allowing Larry to drag him through litigations which were going to run on a lowball rough estimate of 50 grand just to make it to April of 2022. But hell, Fupa's lawyer, Fupa's free legal shield attorney wasn't holding no punches either, because that was Judge S. Gwin's rough lowball estimate that in the least, buddy, you're going to spend $50K just to make it to April. He made sure to look Fupa in the eye and to put a strong emphasis on the word federal, baby. Okay, that's federal with a T, bitch. Okay, that's how high the stakes are, bitch. That's how high the price tag is. That we're talking federal, girl. Okay, this is not your basic ass EBT civil lawsuit happening locally, girl, where you just trying to get your residuals and an extra pack of cigarettes out of the deal, baby, because you done slipped and fell in the 7-Eleven and done broke off your good bundles. No, ma'am. So, Judge S. Gwin said, sir, now I done heard and know what Larry's paperwork, I know what Larry's bank account is set up like. Fupa know what Larry's bank account is set up like too, because remember, Fupa illegally got in possession of Larry's deposition paperwork from Larry's Dewey litigations. Okay? Some crooked motherfucker had done tried to weaponize the insignificant blogger and sent him Larry's deposition paperwork, which had Larry's banking information on it. This is why you guys never heard Fupa ever talk about the coin. Well, he actually admitted in a few videos that Larry got the coin. That's where all the hate and anger is from Fupa to Larry. Not only was because when Larry rejected Fupa, okay, it wasn't just for Fupa the rejection and the loss of what might have been a close association, maybe a basic mediocre friendship at best, but it was also a separation and a rejection, okay, from all of the freeloading and all of the charitable nature that Larry D. Reid likes to exude and project onto those he loves and his family and things, because Larry is a really loving, charitable, supportive person, especially to to his inner circle, okay? So Fupa has been heartbroken, girl, because it was not only a loss of a potential friendship, baby, but it damn sure was also the loss of a potential borrowing system as well. Uh-huh. So Judge S. Gwin said, you know what I'm going to order a mediation between you and Larry Reid, Fupa. It would be best if you guys could settle this out of court, honey, because this is going to ruin you. And from the likes of it, it looks like you already damn been ruined, and we ain't even got started yet, bitch. If you are already $600 short coming into pre-trial, bitch, you damn sure gonna be $50,000 short just to make it to litigations, not coupled with the punitive damages you're gonna be responsible for, all of Larry's legal fees, lawyer fees, motion to the court fees. So we're talking you alone spending $50K. But guess what? When Judge S. Gwin jumped up and said $50K, baby, Fupa's lawyer had to correct Judge S. Gwin and said, sir, I'm charging this Negro $65,000 to make it from here to April, baby. Okay? So Fupa's lawyer, his so-called fraternity brother, baby, slapped an extra $15,000 on the price tag. $50,000 I asked, baby. It's gonna be $65K for me. So as a standalone, Fupa himself has to shit out at the very least $65K if he maintains the same lawyer and goes to trial. And separate from that $65,000 tab he's spending just to go toe-to-toe in a losing battle with Larry, he's going to be responsible when this victory comes down on his ass for all of the punitive damages, which, as you guys can see from the lawsuit, are $65,000 and up. It's well into the 100,000s of dollars, coupled with Larry's lawyer fees, which are also in the 100 of thousands of dollars at this point. See, while Fupa is around here bobbing for dicks to get lawyers and shit, allegedly, Larry has quality legal representation. Because you know how much it'll take for Larry to get to April? $167,000. And that's just for the one lawyer, his super lawyer in Ohio, who is representing him in this defamation case. Larry got a whole nother goddamn lawyer in Ohio named Andrew, who's going to be dealing with the social media shit when it comes to Google and YouTube and Facebook and Buy Me a Coffee and all that shit. So Judge S. Gwin, out of pity for Fupa, okay, said, sir, you need to holler at Larry. So I'm going to order a mediation, and hopefully you guys can work this out. Now, Fupa jumped out of his seat, okay? The way that Fupa's balls jump out of his pants every time he tunes into King Jives' OnlyFans page at the prospect of litigations, okay? That totally appealed to him like it was his goddamn birthday, baby. He turned into a 1834 goddamn slave, baby. Oh, yes, a massa. Yes, a massa. I would love. Oh, yes, a massa. We'll talk. Oh, yes, a massa. Yes, a massa. Oh, yes, massa, massa. We'll talk. We'll get together. Yes, a massa. We'll work it out. Oh, yes, a massa. We will. Oh, yes, a massa ass nigga. Oh, so now we have December the 6th. Mediation. So we're going to get into a little bit of what happens in mediation. And this is the part that's going to be triggering, is when we get into what our secular man of God is willing to mediate. Okay, this may trigger some of you guys, but I'll make sure to put the trigger warning, girl, before we get there. But before we get there, we got to go here. I found it interesting that during pretrial, that Fupa brought up Larry's. Let me. I should have used the picture, child. Let me pull up these. Hold on, y'all know I'm visual, honey. Y'all know I'm visual, honey. If you're just coming in, baby, we just getting started, baby. We warming up here. Okay. Girl, so you know what? My StreamYard acting stanker dang. I can't see nothing. Hold on, let me pull this up on my phone real quick. Because my phone is dooming the most. Hold on, you guys. Oh, it didn't share. Hold on. Let me see this. StreamYard been acting up, honey. I don't know what this girl is giving. Share screen. Okay, she ain't letting me share the mother loving screen, and I almost really need to be quite honest. I kind of need to. Hold on, let me see if I do this. Let me see if I do this. Hold on, you guys. Let me. Okay, cause StreamYard acting like a bitch ass whore. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me. I had to log in from my phone because once again, StreamYard is acting dang. But we're going to restart her, girl, because I need visuals for tonight. Oh yes, I do, honey. So let me exit out of this real quick on my laptop and pull it back up on my laptop while we are waiting for Miss StreamYard to get her motherfucking ponytail together. Go ahead and give me a nasty thumbs up if you're just coming into the building, girl. You have not missed much, girl. We're just having a kiki and a cackle over the brokenness of Miss Fupa Moore claiming that in her countersuit, you know, that she also has suffered because Larry has, in some imaginary world, girl, dragged her and slandered her, and that has resulted in her losing out, girl, and her bouncing checks and shit at Piggly Wiggly and every goddamn thing, honey. So Miss Fupa Moore is trying to call herself being retaliatory, girl, or at least, I guess, you know, trying to cash out a little bit here by filing a frivolous counterclaim that, of course, is going to be thrown out. What else would it be? But we'll get into that too, honey. So as I'm pulling up my StreamYard here, girl, let me, okay, see? Okay. Now I'm back. Let me see here. Okay, I'm back on the laptop. I'm back on the laptop, you guys. Okay, so hold on. Let me see if I can load up my images here. Girl, give me a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. This helps with algorithm, you guys. Let me pull up what I need to pull up here real quick. Thank you guys for being so patient with me tonight, girl. You know, going live is a whole lot of going on, honey. All type of shit happens live, okay? Sometimes it's gonna be perfect, and sometimes you're gonna have to put in that work. Oh yes. What am I looking for? I'm looking for some things here. Boom, boom, boom. Hold on, give me a second as you guys are getting that together, honey, because Miss Moore, you know, her little monthly income, baby, I just don't know what she doing to survive. No wonder she drinking all that damn cheap-ass whiskey and shit, girl, and smoking all them damn cigars, honey. She probably praying that the Lord just go ahead and just rapture her on, or just go ahead and take her in the night so she don't feel no pain, child. I said, my God, honey. I mean, I almost was going to cash app into the bitch's legal fund, girl, just to help her out. Shit. Girl, it almost, her pitifulness just almost appealed to my humanity, girl. It almost did. But because I don't look at Fupa as a human being, but as a demon, okay, who looks like a human, okay, a human, honey, okay, a devil in disguise. Miss Fupa is, honey. You know, I just can't let my humanity get the best of me, honey. I gotta stay on this whole neck, honey. Okay, this is a principality in a wickedness. I would say in a high place, but that bitch lays low in the family basement. So, you know, this is a wickedness in low places, baby. But, you know, she's dwelling nonetheless. And she must be destroyed, baby. So let me see here. Hold on, I'm looking for something else. Growl. Hold on, honey. I'm trying to find all of my shit. I had to restart my whole system up in here, honey. Up in here. Let me see. Who is this? Oh, okay. This is what I need too. And it's one more I'm looking for, but I may just do without it. Okay. All right. I got what I need, y'all. Now let me see if I can share the screen out, honey. Hey, Christian, what's going on? CCN TV. What's going on? So, what I found to be interesting, y'all, is that during pre-trial, honey. Who said your mouth? Oh, you bet. Hey, you bet. So during pre-trial, girl, what I found to be so fascinating is that, and I had mentioned this in the play-by-play, that when Judge Gwin had referred, okay, to Miss Moore, honey, because Fupa literally thought, I mean, this bitch turned to goddamn Johnny Cochran, girl. I mean, this whole thought he was in the goddamn OJ trial and shit, girl. He started defending himself, bitch. All that guilty consciousness, girl, just had them conjured up, girl. All of that defensive ass posture, baby. This bitch turned into Jenny Craig, Johnny Cochran, girl. She got the wailing around in defense of herself as if she was gonna get locked up right there on the spot, baby. So the fear and the trauma, girl, and the anxiety of it all just started jumping out, girl. And so she had them busted out with Larry's Patreon, talking about he supposed to be a minister, and got porn in his Patreon things as if Fupa was not a member himself. Nonetheless, Darryl, Mrs. Moore, bringing up Larry's Patreon and pre-trial, But Fupa, you claim to be a minister on social media, and none of your behavior is a reflection of the one true Lord and Savior. Not to mention that you absolutely told the judge that you are not, okay, a minister. Only someone who has a certificate to marry ancestral couples and unholy people in matrimony. So why, Fupa? Why did you absolutely stop Judge Gwin dead in his damn tracks when he referred to you as Minister Fupacon, the father of the Fupatonian species, who come from the furthest regions of the Fupaverse? Huh? Why you had stopped him from slapping Minister in front of your pot-bellied, insignificant, valueless name like that, girl? It was as if Judge Gwin had told you that he was sentencing your scalp to the second round of alopecia all over again when he called you minister, Mr. Ma'am. Okay, girl, you got to rocking that goddamn wood paneling and that damn lawn chair like no tomorrow in rebuke of being called minister. But you let all 14 of the Fupalettes over there in your live stream call you minister. So what's T, big belly bitch? Because any other person, girl, you would allow to call you Minister TD Fakes. But when Judge Gwin did it, baby, it was a long no, baby, okay? Was it because in that moment, in front of actual authority, girl, you were forced to conviction and shame, knowing that none, okay, of that ghetto, project living, gator swamp welfare buffoonery you've been doing online for 2 years as a middle-aged man could in no way reflect the title and honor of minister? Because when you got before Judge Gwin, you shrunk into the 18 and under year-old bussy bitch that your nappy-headed mammy, okay, raised you to be, girl. So I wanted to know, where was all that male bravado that you throw around on the ratchet, contentless, no money-making ass page you call a platform? We, the people, would like to know. Gag order, let's talk about the motherfucking order. Okay? Because soon as Judge Gwin called out how high that price tag would be on litigations up till trial in April, you started sounding off like Fupa Luther King, bitch, in a I Have a Dream speech. I have a dream, Judge, that Larry would be so merciful to mediate with me so that my credit score can remain liberated like that of Kentucky slaves. I have a dream, Judge, that my son's son will live in a nation where they will never have to open the door for their father's process server and ride in a dilapidated rental ever again. I have a dream, Judge, that the state of Ohio will be transformed for the better after Larry sues the remaining inches off my erectile dysfunctional peen. I have a dream, Judge, that one day every nook, cranny, and crevice of this raggedy botched body will be made plain, and that all dents and sagging parts will be made straight and supported by an innovative body shaper for men who act like boys. Oh, yes, God. Oh, yes, God. Uh-huh. Now, I have pulled on around, girl, to Knockout Media, honey, the other day. And y'all make sure to subscribe over there to Knockout Media, honey, okay, who been gathering, okay, the intel, honey. And when I was listening to his commentary, he pulled up a really interesting picture of the A-Team. Now, because I don't look at demonic media over there, girl, you know, I don't be seeing these things, honey, because I don't be trying to invoke these lower spirits and shit up into my life like this. But he shared this particular image, honey. Okay? Uh-huh. Now, this is our precious Knockout Media right here in the corner, girl. Okay? He had them hoes on the back string. Now, I found this promotional image of the asinine team to be really, really fascinating, okay? Because here it is, right in the front, you got the most irrelevant bitch, okay, to the front of Destiny's Children girl, okay, of Destiny's doomed children girl. You got Roxanne looking like Fupa indeed ain't never gonna be her man, honey. Why is Roxanne looking like a 1995 hooker with ratchet edges and an outre half wig on? Don't she just look like she leaning over into the John's car saying, I can make you feel real good tonight, Big Daddy. What you looking for? And then you got Marcel us all out ass in the bike looking like a damn power bottom who makes straight A's and got a goddamn lisp. Then you got Let Me See Your Ass actually be relevant on YouTube all the way over there to the right, almost edited completely out of the damn 18's promotional image, looking like a big ass piece of chicken with damaged hair. And then last but not least, bitch, you got Mrs. Fupa Moore, honey, loud, live, and in the flesh, honey, okay? In his permanent position of looking over his damn shoulder because he never know if it's melody from heaven running after his ass for back child support, or rather it's another process server at the door. Or rather, it's Larry collecting taxes off his 401k for them punitive damages. Or rather, it's him, girl, clocking his private subscriber count, dwindling into the low hundreds because he been exposed as a liar, a fraud, a hater, and a hoe. Shout out to Denise Williams out here in these YouTube streets. Oh, grr. See, y'all see Fupa can't move forward, honey, because this bitch is always permanently having to look back over his shoulder at which one of his opponents is coming for that wrinkle neck next. Okay? See, he got so many goddamn enemies on and offline at this goddamn point, girl, that it leaves no rest for the wicked indeed. Now, I wants to know why Mr. Potato Head, pyramid head shaped ass, with these goddamn baby doll eyeglasses on, edited Kimberly's wide quarterback ass so far away from the gang. Does anybody else notice what I'm noticing? It looked to me like Miss Marcel your ass edited Miss Chandler all the way to the left, all the way to the right, baby. Okay, now I'm trying to figure out, is Marcel you like communicating a encrypted message to us? That big mama smell like pork rinds and cheap toenail polish? And that's why he scooted her ass all the way to the edge of the group picture? I'm trying to figure out, girl, why they got this triple chin ass bitch so far out of the city limits of the family portrait like this. Is it that the rest of Transcript's body wouldn't fit in the goddamn frame? Okay? And why that hoe look like she got 2 stoves in her house? She looked like she got 2 of them GE 30-inch, 4 elements, freestanding electric range white stoves, bitch. 2 of them good ass stoves in her household. So whoever was the creative director for this image, girl, I'm trying to figure out, why is the rest of y'all dressed in basic church clothes, but y'all got, let me see, that black stuff on your neck looking like a recovering COVID survivor? Bitch, I know we all quarantining, but damn, y'all even maintaining social distancing from the weakest link of the A-team in pictures too? Is the disdain for her that deep that y'all got this bitch 6 feet to the left of everybody else, smiling with more gaps in her goddamn fat ass grill than a picket fence, bitch? Woo-cha! Girl, anyways, girl, let's get on to motherfucking business and get these motherfucking unattractive girls off my screen like this, girl, so I can breathe again, honey. So let's get a little serious, okay? Because I don't want to keep y'all on, because we're going to have to do an after show, because I got a feeling y'all going to want to drag Larry a little bit, girl. Just a little bit, girl. Hey, Tony X. Just a little bit, okay? I got a feeling y'all gonna want to drink just a little bit, okay? No, not perpetual, bro. a perpetual. So let's okay, so the first line of business is that, girl, Larry has to have in his response to Fupa's frivolous countersuit, okay? Yes, the baseless, shameful, frivolous counterclaim, girl, that him and his lawyer will be responding by Monday along with mediation resolve, okay? Let me tell you what's interesting about Fupa's counterclaim, or his countersuit, girl, is that it's literally just that, a goddamn counterclaim, girl. It's a claim, girl. How are you asking for 100 million quadrillion goddamn dollars in punitive damages in a counterclaim, but you had to sit before the actual judge and say out of your dick sucker, your deep throater, your super soaker throater, that your monthly income is less than $1,400 goddamn dollars? And how in the hell and on what basis are you countersuing a man who does not speak about you? Which is why he's at 110,000 subscribers alone on YouTube, and you still the goddamn invisible man. Make it make sense. His goddamn counterclaim was literally one whole run-on goddamn sentence that made no cohesive fucking sense. Provided no facts, no basis, just literally a claim. Now, if that don't tell you how quick that shit is gonna be tossed out, just ask Tasha K about her counterclaim against Carter B and how quickly that shit was dissolved. Okay? Now, because this is mediation, it also means that Larry's lawyer and Fupa's free legal shield attorney might actually get an opportunity to sit down before they have to sit before the big principal, okay? And actually mediate some stuff, because that's what lawyers do. But seeing that Fupa's lawyer is charging him an arm and a leg and his asshole, it's not probable that there's going to be a sit down in the meeting of the minds, honey. Fupa probably can only pay this lawyer to show up at mediation, the same way that Larry's lawyer was trying to get into contact with Fupa's lawyer this whole time before a pretrial, and could not get a meeting with him, could not get an exchange with him before pretrial, because Fupa has a pay-as-you-go as lawyer, honey. He can only retain his lawyer when he absolutely, unequivocally, irrefutably needs his goddamn lawyer, okay? So all this like expensive rich nigga shit that Larry can do, like have his attorneys meet up with your attorneys to have conversation and things, the way that Larry's able, you know, in rich nigga fashion, honey, to just be able to cover that tab, honey. You know, he can pay his lawyer fees and legal fees monthly, okay? Without breaking a sweat, honey, okay? You know, rich nigga shit, black male entrepreneurial shit, big dick shit, big alpha male shit, you know, small things to a giant type shit. And Fupa can only afford his lawyer to show up, girl, when the judge is making the ruling, girl. So I'm sure that there won't be any exchange, baby. Not at all. Now, here's the triggering part, girl. So I want y'all to breathe, bitch. If you're eating, I want you to stop. If you're drinking, I want you to stop. Because I don't know what emotional reaction you about to have, okay? Because you know, I got a little bit of intel about what will work for Larry as it relates to mediation and what won't, okay? Because let's remain perfectly clear and on the straight and narrow here. The ball is in Larry's court. The mediation is set up in the context of giving Fupa's broke ass another option because his pockets and wallets don't run deep enough to survive the next several months. Without him, okay, being forced into free slave labor, bitch, just to make up the difference. Okay, so Larry is going to have to be appeased in mediation. Now, I'm going to tell y'all just a little bit of what Larry wants in mediation. And I'm going to say this. If you have an adverse reaction, girl, because I know how some of y'all feeling, girl. I know some of y'all want to see apocalypse reign, girl. I know y'all want Larry to gather up every bit of Fupa's ponytail, bitch, and just drag him to and fro the flat earth, bitch. Okay? So I'm just making you aware that some of y'all might not be too satisfied about where Larry is willing to compromise at. But if you do want to share your thoughts and you have feelings, okay, and you have things you want to express, and you have things maybe you want to communicate to me, okay, because sometimes folk got to go through me to get to the son who's sitting under the son who's sitting under the father, okay, amen, okay. Maybe some things y'all want me to bring back to Larry, okay, or maybe Mr. Reid will pull up himself, okay. In the Patreon, because what we're going to do is, I'm going to let y'all cuss them out in Patreon. So right after this live, girl, we're going to roll right on over to Patreon and have an after show. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the link and let y'all come up and just say what y'all need to say after y'all hear what y'all about to hear, okay? Because maybe some of y'all think it's reasonable, and maybe some of y'all think that it is fair and that it's just. And maybe some of y'all feel like it's not, okay? But let's keep in mind, this is our secular man of God's case, okay? It's not all of us versus Fupa Moore, okay? It's not the state of the world versus Fupa Moore. It's Larry D. Reid versus Fupa Moore, okay? Well, Larry D. Reid and friends versus Fupa Moore. But I still think this compromise, I think it's about as fair and still yield to justice. There's definitely relief there in what Larry is willing to bend on for Fupa. So you can tell that Larry does have the holy goddamn ghost in him, honey. Okay? Amen. Larry is, contrary to popular belief, he is our secular, but nonetheless, man of God, okay? He is our secular man of God, yes. So this is what Larry would need in mediation in order to prohibit the dragging of Fupa through $65K worth of litigations to make it to a trial that's going to be even more injurious for Fupa. Okay? Fupa is absolutely the unfavorable one in this predicament. Okay? All the ball and power is in Larry's hand. Now, mediation includes, you guys, what before we do mediation, let me hold off real quick. let me bring up this image again, and let's first read what mediation is, because there's a lot of folk who not, acute on legal terms and legal proceedings, etc. So let's read shortly, briefly, what mediation is legally, okay? This is from corporate.findlaw.com, and it is titled, What is Mediation and How Does It Work? Okay? The article reads, mediation is a procedure in which the parties discuss their disputes with the assistance of a trained, impartial third persons who assist them in reaching a settlement. It may be an informal meeting among the parties or a scheduled settlement conference. The dispute may either be pending in a court or potentially a dispute which may be filed in court, okay? Cases suitable for mediation are disputes in commercial transactions, personal injury, construction, workers' compensation, labor, or community relations, divorce, domestic relations, employment, or any other matters which, okay, do not involve complex procedural or evidentiary issues. Attendance at the mediation conference is voluntary by the parties, except where governed by statute or contract clause. The mediator is a person with patience, persistence, and common sense. He or she has an arsenal of negotiation techniques, human dynamic skills, and powers of effective listening, articulation, and restatement. The mediator is a facilitator who has no power to render a resolution to the conflict. The parties will fashion the solution as the mediator moves through the process along with them. In many jurisdictions, the mediator is an attorney but cannot give legal advice while in the role of a mediator. However, the mediator's subject area expertise may be beneficial to the parties in wording and framing, okay, the mediated agreement, or in circumstances where the parties are open to neutral case evaluation, okay? Now let's read this last part here, okay, titled Benefits of Mediation Process, okay? There are numerous reasons why a party to a dispute might choose mediation over traditional litigation or other forms of alternative dispute resolution. Some of them are affordability, like in Fupa's case, timely resolution, like in Fupa's case, private sessions, and confidentiality, okay? Participation in the resolution of the dispute, and in many cases, preservation of the interrelationship between the parties, which there are none in this case. The cost of mediation is less than the average cost in time and money for the litigation of a dispute. The mediator's hourly rate is generally lower than the hourly rate for a lawyer. Parties can often schedule mediation within weeks of a decision to mediate or a court order to mediate, okay? Mediators offer their services in the evenings, weekends, and regular weekdays. There's no spectators to the mediation, and whatever is said in the mediation cannot be repeated or reported by the mediator, okay? The settlement agreement is the only record of the proceedings. The agreement to mediate, which is signed by the parties prior to the conference, will often remind the parties of the confidentiality of the session and that the mediator is not available as a voluntary witness in a trial or a matter. Okay, so that is just a little brief running through of litigations. California judge says, get all of your goddamn money. Can Larry let us call in and drag Fupa for 5 minutes? Look, we're going to have an after show at the Patreon, y'all. So this is what Larry is willing to do, okay? Mediation would include Fupa having to remove all Larry Reid Live related content, no longer utilizing his hashtags, etc. for views and all the other shit he does to hijack Larry's algorithm, along with and shutting the hell up altogether about him, his family, and employees. Okay? Shamako, Kendall, Vincent, all the core people around Larry. Okay? That alone would achieve the injunction. Okay? That's going to be granted in this case. whether it's something that Fupa willingly gives over and allows the judge to rule over, or whether it is something that is amplified and concluded by a jury and a judge, in which matters and repercussions will be much more grander, okay? Now, Larry is willing to mediate that in exchange for not collecting on punitive damages. Now, I told you guys this would be triggering. So all of y'all who just said, Larry, get your money. Larry is willing to allow Fupa to accept an injunction in exchange for him letting go of the hundreds of thousands of dollars in court fees, attorney fees, and punitive damages done to his brand. Okay? Which those punitive damages, court and lawyer fees are astronomical. So this is a sweet motherfucking deal for Mrs. Fupa Moore, okay? Because if Larry has to press the issue to trial, baby, this absolutely is going to ruin Fupa financially, okay? And he's already financially, okay, damn near ruined. But pushing and dragging Fupa through litigations and a trial victory, okay, will absolutely make it impossible for Fupa's credit to ever recover again in this lifetime, bitch. He has to be incarnated in 2 more goddamn lifetimes, girl, to be free financially, girl. Okay? Also, not only would Larry be willing to drop the punitive damages and drop the legal fees, he also would be willing to forfeit trial, which would result in Fupa being completely disbanded from all social media, because that is what Larry and his lawyers would be going for in a trial. And there's overwhelming evidence to make that completely and utterly 100% possible and probable in this case, especially seeing that Larry has not been the only target, and that Larry is not an isolated incident as it relates to Fupa, but that Fupa has indeed been terroristic, stalking, and menacing toward 5 other individuals, including myself in the past. This absolutely, coupled with Fupa's mental health, self-admitted bipolar, schizophrenic, chronic depressive personality situation, and the drinking and smoking and the criminal charges and trespassing and doxing, that all of this literally would make trial completely insane for Fupa. And if Larry has to see Fupa to trial, Larry's going for everything: punitive damages, lawyer fees, total injunction, and disbandment from the internet altogether. And he's going to turn around after this defamation suit and follow up with the double whammy with the criminal charges, which Larry would also be willing to drop. If Fupa is willing to just pretty much leave everybody the fuck alone and never speak about any of us, including himself, ever again, and allow a judge to rule on that so that it is signed, sealed, and delivered. Now, to Yvette's point, if Larry has to see Fupa to trial And that meaning that Larry will press the gas totally on Fupa, criminal charges the whole nine. What that means is that, yes, that opens up Fupa to being locked away in a psych ward. That leads to lots of criminal fines, charges, jail time, and potentially not only ended up banned from the internet, but banned to a 5150 fucking hold because he absolutely has displayed maniacal behavior, including doxing Larry on the morning of pretrial, including days following pretrial, going on Ancestry.com to look up the relative, the male relative who was molesting and having sex with Larry, while knowing that he's in an entire defamation suit. And he's a self-professed mentally ill person. And Larry has not been his only target. That this behavior is a consistent and utter pattern on behalf of Fupa Moore. It will not be well, which is why initially Larry desired a trial. Because he's willing to absolutely give Fupa that motherfucking work in totality. Okay? But see, Larry got a little bit of Holy Ghost in him, so he has the ability to be diplomatic and consider getting what he needs in mediation and also giving Fupa a less of an ass kicking. I won't kick your ass fully if you are willing to accept the L now. And that'll be your fucking choice. Fupa to accept the L now. Cut your financial burden short. You know, save time and energy and sanity. Because you will, if you weren't mentally well before all this, baby, you're gonna need a padded room by the time this is all said and this is all done, because all of heaven is and will be conspiring against Fupa. And Larry got the time, and Larry got the resources, and Larry got the reach, and Larry got the coin to give that whole word. Atita Edmond, no. Before I gave this commentary, Fupa had no idea what Larry's train of thought was, and what's going to be regarding mediation. So I just gave him intel, which you guys know Fupa is listening and looking, child. Where else would he be on a Saturday night? He don't got no Omega Psi-Phis to hang out with because he's a goofy, lonely, silly-ass, ridiculous, debauchery-ass bitch. Okay? He has no social life. He has no woman. Okay? He has no man. He has no nothing. He's right here in this chat, girl, listening intently so he can form a egoic response to the commentary, and so that he can act like a Billy Badass in front of his followers while showing up to mediation ready to settle out of court. These are the games that this whole play. We've already clocked all of his behavior at this point. We know what to expect from Fupa. So no, Fupa had no idea. He's learning right now, as you all are, what's in store. Now, I personally think this is a fair and balanced give and take mediation. Maybe some of you don't think so. We'll talk about it over in Patreon. Now, as it relates to the potential for criminal charges, if Larry has to go, if Fupa doesn't come to the table and say anything that appeases Larry, Larry's going to proceed with trial. And for those of you who are wondering about the criminal charges, that will not play out in this particular suit because this is a defamation suit. But what will follow the immediate granting of that injunction and Fupa's 5150 hold and his entire ban from social media altogether is also a follow-up case and suit regarding those criminal charges for the doxing and the trespassing. That's all of the ass kicking that's in store. Okay? Now, the magistrate in this case, who's going to be mediating things on December the 6th, more than likely is going to be telling Fupa that, bitch, you're going to lose. He's pretty much going to follow up on Judge S. Gwin's initial commentary and sentiments toward Fupa and say, girl, this just does not make sense, girl. Considering that you are completely and utterly guilty of all 70 or 77 grievances against you in this lawsuit, all that stuff is completely validated by actual receipts, not just claims and baseless verbal and written claims by Larry, but that they can align your literal words up with the literal footage and audio next to every single thing claimed against you, follow and are coupled with the fact that you've trespassed on this goddamn man's property and you've actually costed this man a notable amount of coin lost to his brand. See, we're talking real life here. This is not, the court of public opinion. These are real judges. These are real magistrates. These are real court systems in play. And these people know the reality of how these things go for plaintiffs and defendants. So they're going to be there telling you the real deal. Now, you may show up to a serious situation with a childish ass attitude and then end up writing the check that your ass damn sure will be cashing or trying to cash for the next few incarnations, girl. But for all adults, they know how real all this is. And this is something that's going to impact Fupa's life in real life. Okay? The courts don't make vain threats. Okay? This is like forcible reality. So Fupa would need to have his mind together and probably really back up off social media, give his ego and his narcissism an actual break, and really grow up in this situation and really think about what's truly in the best interest of the little bit of years he has left on his life on this planet, and how does he want to spend that? Do you want to spend that going down in a blaze of glory at the hand of a man you claim that you was going to bring down, who's in fact actually bringing you down? Do you want to spend the rest of your goddamn days and even the rest of this year in litigations and scrummaging for pennies at the bottom of piggy banks, trying to fight what is clear to all viewers online and certainly clear to the courts you're going to fucking lose? And are you ready for your life being super complicated by the court stripping your ass of your platform and all platforms, irregardless of whether you're talking about Larry or not, and suffering with various fines, jail and or prison time because there is a blatant and clear-cut case for criminal charges against you, as there are for every one of us who have been stalked, doxxed, threatened, slandered, etc. for years at this point. I mean, this is something that, see, I have no hope for Fupa. So I know that Fupa won't be a man. I expect him to be a indignant, gutter snipe from right up out the hood, okay? And to allow his pride to lead him into total and utter destruction. That's what I know is going to be the case. I know the bitch has no wherewithal and ability to actually be intelligent and to think with wisdom, because he's a reprobate, too far gone for any sensible behavior, for any manly behavior, for any adulting capacity. Okay? So I personally have no hopes or expectations. Larry more than likely is going to be pressing the gas in trial, because Mrs. Moore would rather play social media games, started getting her caught up in federal litigation games. Okay? And all the beautiful things that she loves about social media, the pseudo-ass little bit of love and support she gets, honey, will all be smited at the hands of Judge S. Gwin, who will be the residing judge over this case, along with the jury, who's going to be able to completely identify with the facts around Larry's case. And once again, Fupa really fucked up, because Larry is not an isolated case. Maybe there would be some wiggle room and some room to manipulate the courts if this was just a one-on-one thing, but the fact that Fupa has done this to multiple individuals, and not even just me, Andrea, Miko, or Jives. He's doxed people in the beef sector. He's been a harasser and doxer and slanderer since his Facebook days, before he even had a YouTube platform. He has done this to McCray, McWig. I mean, the list literally goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Harlow, Prissy Poodle. I mean, there's a laundry list. All of this comes up and out in trial. And Fupa won't be able to sell those wolf tickets and those crocodile tears over, because what we have on our side is the literal facts. Not sob stories, not tall tales, but the facts. The subpoenaed facts. The literal black and white objective polarizing facts. The legal system is about information. You know, this is not a murder trial. This is stalking, harassment, cyberbullying, and slander that impacted people emotionally, impacted their businesses, impacted their state of minds, their emotional well-being. And this behavior went on for years. The facts, for those who are also wondering about any potential frivolous lawsuit filed on behalf of Fupa on any of us, would literally be frivolous and something that none of us are afraid of, because all it would do is give any of us the perfect opportunity to pull the reverse Uno card and have his baseless, unsubstantiated, frivolous lawsuit turned into a countersuit based upon facts. Because what the facts will bear out is that we've been really quiet and have taken so many high roads before even launching off video series in defense of ourselves, our names, our reputations, etc. What the facts will bear out is all of the ways in which we attempted to resolve conflict, whether that be not responding at all, whether that be clearly stating to this fool and his dilapidated, edgeless flying monkeys to leave us the fuck alone before you get that work or you get that fire from that smoke that you're charring up. Or rather it be us swinging on him social media style while still not breaking any laws. What the facts will bear out is, why would a man countersuing someone who's suing him for slander and harassment? Or why would the man even considering filing what is going to be a frivolous and ineffective lawsuit against anybody else in this situation, would do so while knowing that if hypothetically he was the victim in this case, he took very illegal measures to defend himself instead of filing a lawsuit initially before you ever doxed, before you ever made terroristic threats, before you ever harassed people through email, before you ever contacted other people's relatives, before you ever did any of the things that not only violate Facebook guidelines, violate YouTube guidelines, but also break the law, before you ever showed up onto people's property. Why, if you are in fact hypothetically the victim, and we're talking about what this looks like in the eyes of the court system, is going to be, why did you resort to breaking the law, but now you want to bring the law into the equation to save you after you left the law out of the equation, when the law should have been the first place you should have went to if you so called were being abused, exploited, hurt in any kind of way. And Crystal, I don't give a damn what Fupa's dry ass, retarded ass. I don't watch that hoe. I don't watch that motherfucking hoe. Hell, every fucking show is all about us. We are the platform. I mean, that's a given, Crystal. So the fuck what? We've been the show for 2 fucking years. Who else gonna be the show? I mean, it's like expecting the sun to be in the sky tomorrow. Like what the fuck else is going to be there other than the sun in the motherfucking sky? The bitch ain't got a show or a shoe to be. Oh no, are you good, Crystal? It ain't heat love. I'm just saying, like, I mean, what else is Fupa gonna do? Like, that's the pitiful part, is that we are his life. That's the pitiful part, is that we are the show, whether we're speaking about him or not. That's why some of us just went ahead and spoke, because silence wasn't making a goddamn difference. Leaving this hole alone for 2 years and letting him do what he do obviously had no impact on him. So I'm at a point where if you're going to talk about me, bitch, I'm going to give you something to talk about. You know, if there's no conflict resolution, then let's not resolve it. Let's not resolve it. Let's not resolve it. Let the debauchery ensue. Oh, and speaking of debauchery, because, you know, this weak ass band of city trend dressing ass bitches talked about whether Larry would pay for my court fees, etc. Let me end this chapter on this note. I'm a well-to-do male, gay and all. We plant this before this even saw the light of day on pacer.gov. As I've been telling y'all in the commentary, to get Fupa in court was the strategy from the jump. And COVID saved and spared Fupa's life because this was going to happen a lot sooner than later. But God works in mysterious ways because the cup of Fupa's transgressions overflowed since all that time. So now there's even more to substantiate any lawsuit against Fupa, any criminal charges against Fupa, anything that any of us want to do as it relates to Fupa and his bald head ass, wigless, group of bandits. All the power is in our hands. But since they are worried or concerned, let's just say this. Because you guys know I'm an art of war ass type of hoe, and I move in silence, and I don't talk about it because I prefer to be about it. But as it relates to that particular area of interest, I already have the bands set aside for initiating the things that maybe I will or won't initiate as it relates to the courts. I already have the bands provided to me to adequately and sufficiently respond to any frivolous lawsuit that I will pull the reverse Uno card on and have a nasty countersuit in place of. I have friends in high places. I myself am a bitch who dwells in high places with other high dwelling people. I have done righteous favors. I have been good to a lot of powerful people who provided me with everything I need to do what I may or may not do. So what that will look like, because the proof is always going to be in the pudding, is if my day ever comes, whether it's as the initiator or as the one responding to the narcissist doing the initiating, what you won't see is a begathon over here. What you won't see is me asking my supporters to support my legal fund because my legal fund has already been provided. The proof will be in the pudding if and when that day ever comes. That's why I've been asking these hoes for 5 months. Is you ready? Are you really ready? Do you really understand? Do you really understand how meticulous Larry is? Do you really understand how cunning CTV is? Do you really understand what you're going up against? Do you really get it? Because y'all didn't get it until it had to be gotten. And now look at you. You never saw any of this coming, and we had to watch you all shamefully embarrass the living hell out of yourself by running around like chickens with your head cut off. Directing coin to Fupa's burial fund for his father, burial fund for his dog in the backyard, and his legal fund to respond to a battle that he claims he orchestrated and was going to be victorious in. And just like you silly, putty bitches didn't expect Larry to come for y'all's necks, just like you sat around for the past, year and 3 months, not even knowing that private investigators were following you and on your trail, which is why that process server was able to knock at that door. Take pictures. Just like you had no idea that Larry's lawyers were secretly looking at your platforms and documenting everything as we sat in silence and y'all took Larry's silence as weakness and fear and all this other stupid ass, egoic, dumbass shit that y'all tell yourselves to feel better at night. Or to make your followers feel better so that they can continue to support frivolous threats that are never going to see the light of day because you hoes are broke, raggedy, dusty, and wrong. And you know it. Wrong, and you know it. Now you want to countersue Larry or even sue others. You had 2 years to do that. Now you want to sue because we done got off in that ass. Now you want to sue because there's been a response. Now you want to sue because the heat in the kitchen got a little bit too hot. Now. But y'all wanted this. Y'all got the smart parts. Exported wine from Spain to Crenshaw, California. This is Kundalini energy over here. The scriptures say that the race is not given to the swift, and you hoes are swift and impulsive, and you swing without strategy, and you swing when you should be resting in the bear's mouth because you understand that any aggressive behavior will only trigger up the snare of the enemy. So as much as the clap hurts already, fighting it hurts even more and results in fatality, hypothetically. So nobody's worried. And I can't speak for Miko or Jives or Andrea, but I'm not worried. The resources and the bands have already been allocated to me long before you even knew we were coming for your ass. And we came prepared, as you can see, in every which way, as you can see. So whatever you want to do, we can do it. I personally have nothing but time, space, and opportunity. And as I said earlier on in the previous months, everyone in the situation would love to have their day in court. It really doesn't matter who initiates it. Victory is ours alone. It wouldn't matter if you initiated it, Fupa. It wouldn't matter if we initiated. It's not going to alter who's going to be victorious. That part. That part. Okay? I just want you to understand that the grace is not provided to the initiator. These are the weird things you yield to in your mind that make you feel like you're in control and that things are going to turn out well because you swing first. The bitches who've gotten the most fucked up in altercations are the hoes who started the altercation. The motherfuckers who end up the bloodiest after an altercation they started are those who initiated the altercation. So I know in your ratchet, short-lived ADHD ass brain that somehow you thinking you initiating any legal process against anybody somehow means something about the outcome. And I'm here to remind you realistically, sir, I know that you don't deal in reality, that it wouldn't change who's going to be victorious. You are playing chess or chess while we are playing checkers. It is a board game, but you on your fee fi fum any mini money mo shit, and we've already graduated to trigonometry and calculus and things. While you still trying to perfect your adding and subtracting. I don't know how to make it make sense. So that is my update, you guys. Mediation happens on December the 6th. Larry will be proceeding to trial if Fupa does not say anything that makes sense. The ball is in Larry's court. Fupa should know that trial gets worse and that he will be enduring a overly priced upper class expensive fight with Larry if he don't have his mind right for mediation on the 6th. And that if Larry has to see this thing to trial, that Larry is going for the entire and utter gusto, because that is the only thing that makes sense to do if you're going to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars just to make it to trial, is to go for the entirety of the gusto. So you can take an injunction, remove all of your content, and shut the fuck up about Larry, his family, his employees and friends, and go on and actually find you something to do. Maybe go play with your cooter instead of playing with us. We can make sure that you end up in that 5150 hole that also happens to be in the wing of an Ohio federal penitentiary by the end of this, while never being able to show your face again on social media, whether you got our names in your dick sucker or not. The choice is motherfucking yours. And honestly, I don't give a fuck which one you make, because either way, we're going to get what we want. And I also don't need none of y'all worrying about no fucking baseless threat about a fucking lawsuit against Miko or Jives or Knockout Me or any fucking body else, baby. Okay? Because Fupa has no claim. Okay? He's not the victim in this case. In any of these cases, we can prove that. Okay? Fupa wants to argue his victimhood verbally. We can prove ours. That's the stark difference. Okay? And CTV is ready, bitch. Everywhere I go ready and prepared to fight, bitch, if I have to, okay? I stay ready, so I ain't got to get ready, bitch. Before I clapped off as the lead media regarding this case, regarding this lawsuit a few months ago, girl, I was all ready, honey. So the question is you ready? Benita says, if his pride wasn't so strong, Fupa would have been safe and spared to continue on in peace. Make the right choice this time, Fupa. The problem is he puts on a show for 2 years and now it's gotten really real and it's too late to turn around. Ain't no Monties. Yes, Phyllis. Dr. Chris says, I don't even understand how somebody run their mouth straight into a federal lawsuit. So let me shut my mouth. Never crossed his mind. Nobody that loves him told him to shut up. I'm going to tell you why. And I never shared this. There's 2 ingredients to Fupa's asinine self-sabotaging behavior. One is the fact that there's something neurologically and emotionally wrong with him, literally. You have to remember, this is a self-professed, mentally disturbed individual who has, according to him, deep-rooted, long-term childhood trauma that comes from him being thrown headfirst into trash cans by his 5th grade peers and being bullied and rejected his whole life. So there's an arrested development, immaturity, chemical imbalances. There's a lot of things culminating. But you sit that aside. What also feeds his pseudo sense of immunity, this false expectation and sense of immunity that he believes he had, is coupled with a very extreme religious delusion of him actually believing that he's called to take Larry down and he's called to do these things. And maybe that's in tandem with the mental illness and the trauma and all of those complex things that culminate in very low, explicit, low vibrating behavior. But he also pulls one out of the books of McWig, Tasha K. And I think he looks at other people who have been sued and see them still bobbing around and feels ultimately he'll be fine. The issue is, and what he doesn't completely understand and intellectualize, especially in conjunction with the criminal justice system is that, unlike a lot of other ordinary everyday people, he's actually mentally ill, which means that any suit against him civilly and or criminally can risk literally the state getting involved because he's deemed as an endangerment to himself. And the defamation stuff and the lawsuit shit all just act as a catalyst for a can of worms to open up that can have detrimental, life altering impact on his literal life. And like the other slanderers that he may be looking at and pulling some self-esteem from, a lot of those slanderers are literally just slanderers. This individual, though, has made terroristic threats. Once again, it's the criminality aspects. He's crossed state lines, threatened to come into people's homes, threatened to touch them, tap them on their shoulder, violate them. He's tried to incite fear, use intimidation tactics, and he's pulled up onto people's property. So now that moves him into another space, rather than just as a slanderer. He's a literal whole criminal. And he's mentally ill at that. And this country puts people who don't get a grip on their mental health in check against their will. This is why we have psych wards. This is why we have psych wards connected to prison systems and just independent institutions. Of psychological evaluation and rehabilitation. There are plenty of people sitting in the psychiatric ward with a judge appointed order to be there because they are either an endangerment unto themselves or unto others or both. So, and this once again is all a part of his immature elementary thinking and intellectualizing, that he, rather than him trying to cover, like, rather than him actually deal with what's actually happening and the reality of all of this actualized in his actual life, he instead would rather, once again, pull from wrong examples of what he believes might be his own future in this, and or listen to the narcissism and the pride here, and just ultimately allow that to lead to the falling onto his own sword. But he's just too deaf, dumb, and stupid to grow the fuck up and to think and be a whole man. And yes, nobody around him loves him. And what is more sinister than Fupa is the fact that there are other people around him, like Mr. Potato Head, Respucia, and his crossing guard, who have not made claims of mental health and yet are willing to aid and abet this self-professed traumatized mentally ill person into his own demise, and encourage it, fund it, participate in it. And they don't even have the excuse of being mentally ill. So no, there's no love. There's nobody around Fupa who has any real sense, compassion, empathy, who really see this man as valuable and don't want to see any hurt come to him economically, socially, or physically. There's none of that. There's just aiding and abetting, aiding and abetting, aiding and abetting. And this actually makes them worse than Fupa. Because as ratchet and raggedy and dangerous as Fupa is, at least it can be said that there is a reason he is the way he is. But what's the excuse for the crossing guard, Roxanne? What's the excuse for the special ed teacher, Kimberly Chandler? What's the excuse for the self-professed 100 square feet mansion living, 6-figure making, highly educated, cultured, and well-mannered Marcellus? What's the excuse? And to not have the balls and the heart to stand up without Fupa's help, but to actually weaponize Fupa and to play off of his need for social acceptance, to play off of his loneliness. This is what makes them just sicker. They are sicker than anybody else in this fucking equation. And yes, to somebody's point. Yes, Jean, Reid is going after the others. You guys will, maybe I'll get to speak more about the injunction that can be granted from the mediation and or from the trial that's going to have its the A team is also connected to some of the rulings related to Fupa. So there's that aspect of Larry holding them accountable, and then there's also the separate things that aren't an extension of what's going to go down with Fupa that Larry is going to make a point to prove regarding them. So yes, the others are going to be held accountable. Yeah, Gina, it is. Well, the judge, so the best way I can explain this is that the legal system is very masculine, is very left-brained. So the judge thinks in terms of like just logic. There's not really feeling, with the criminal justice system. It's more so just about what the data communicates. So the judge feels, like I said earlier in the commentary, that Fupa is in his best interest to mediate with Larry, considering that he doesn't have the money and the resources, nor does he have an actual fight. Like he doesn't. The judge feels that there's nothing that he has seen from the motions, from the way that Fupa's team has filed, There's nothing that the judge extrapolated from the pretrial conference where he got to speak directly to Fupa that makes Fupa going forward with trial sensible. It's like a man just being willing to walk toward his own death, really. So the judge literally would not understand why Fupa would not want to mediate if that's what Fupa chooses to do, is to say some really cracked out shit on December the 6th that will just once again self-activate trial in April. So the judge is saying, hey, you're wrong as hell in this. You owe this man $1 quadrillion billion fucking dollars. You've done the things that is listed on this lawsuit. And this is going to be a disaster. I mean, just making it to trial for you, Fupa, is going, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And once again, you're talking to healthy, sane people when you're talking about what the judge feels, what the lawyers feel. These are people who not mentally ill, people who are not, who don't have an ego or a rooster in the race. It's just logic. It, like, how y'all feel about this? Like, does it make sense? None of this makes sense, right? Because y'all know Fupa is wrong. Fupa know he's wrong, which is why Fupa was completely open to mediation. So when the judge, made his statements toward Fupa about what it would cost him and about what the outcome would be of all this, Fupa was once again damn near out of his seat, jumping at the opportunity for mediation. Absolutely wanted mediation. So mediation he'll get. Okay? But if Fupa thinks that he's going to bring any of that delusional, cracked out, crack pipe ass shit to mediation, he might as well just come into mediation saying set for trial, because that weird shit that he does, like, he literally brought up Larry conspiring some murder plot and him wanting Larry to apologize for conspiring or implementing him into a murder plot. And I'm thinking, and the judge literally scratched his fucking head. And I'm literally thinking to myself, like, if I was the judge, all I would be able to do is scratch. Like, the judge literally knows that something is wrong with Fupa. Fupa behaved like someone who has behavioral issues, who has autism issues, who has a comprehension issue. The judge didn't even ask for, like, when Fupa interjected with his whole, like, well, what, like, he had to ask the judge, what about my counterclaim? Because the judge literally was just disinterested in Fupa, because the proof is in the pudding. Larry's lawyers came to the table with a lawsuit that was well vetted. It was coupled with all the evidence. Honestly, Larry, them don't really even need to go through discovery. Discovery would just be like an extra aha. It'll just be like a bonus attribute for Larry, really, as it relates to this suit. It's not even fucking necessary. But the judge was just like, what? And the fact that Fupa was just as unprepared for his own counterclaim as he was for Larry even suing him. Literally, no preparation. Even even the countersuit, literally was not met with any reality. The burden is on Fupa to prove that Larry implemented him into a murder plot. Now, the term murder plot is literally where he fucked up at. Murder plot. A murder plot. Okay? That's an actual statement. He's making that statement, a murder plot. So the burden of him to prove a murder plot, and what he presents as implementing him in a murder plot is the fact that threats he made against Larry online and offline were published to social media. And that's his claim to Larry implementing him into a murder plot. And even with an extreme statement like that, someone implemented me in a murder plot. I mean, that is a very dense and extraordinary statement to literally make in the context of the criminal justice system. And you sit before a judge who resides and rules over federal cases, criminal cases, murder cases, have literally seen it all. And you say out of your mouth to an experienced, well-to-do federal judge that this man, Larry Reid, implemented you into a murder plot, and yet you have the mitigated gall in front of him, two lawyers, and Larry to say that you are willing to resolve that if Larry is willing to apologize. And the judge had to scratch hair that was not there. Like, what in the fuck? Who acts for it? What does an apology mean if you really believe that someone implemented you into a murder plot, and the conflict resolution is if he's willing to apologize for that, I'm willing to drop my countersuit. Sir, your countersuit is all, it was dropped before you ever picked it up. You never even got it off the ground. And yes, classy, it is shocking to see someone play. It's unbelievable to see someone almost be a parody of themselves in such very serious circumstances. And it's almost unbelievable. It's almost unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Perfect words, Phyllis. Delusional. And this is a part of his counterclaim, is his countersuit is this: Larry implemented me in a whole murder plot. Now, it's one thing to be willing to say that and know that you don't have any backing receipt. There's really nothing that exists that remotely proves that beyond a shadow of a doubt. But it's another thing for you to know that you literally filed a frivolous countersuit and had it was actually in you to sit before the highest authorities in the criminal justice system, like a judge, and have the nerve to ask for an apology from the person who you filed a counter suit against for implementing you. And so you want the person that you try. I could go literally, I could stay there. It's and this why, like, I cannot take Fupa seriously. I don't. It is very easy for me to lose no sleep over Fupa. It is very easy for me. Like, nothing he says about Larry or about myself, literally, it means nothing to me because he's been beyond a joke to me. It's beyond a joke. It's almost like he doesn't even exist as far as I'm concerned. That's how removed I am. Like, for me to react to a person is to humanize them in some way, and Fupa is something beyond. Like, it's in the realm of comedy and cartoons and fictional, and like there's no genuine substance to connect to. Like, this is not, because it's not about anything. It's not about anything. Like, he's not about anything. What he says isn't about anything. What he does isn't about anything. It's just nothing. It's like, it's just nothing. It's just him doing what he does. And I try to take this seriously. I wanted to be just as upset as Miss Miko has been. I wanted to feel that. Like, I wanted to believe in all of this, and I just cannot. I just can't. And I've tried. I've wanted to be for real upset at this dude. I have wanted to, like, for real. I like wanted to feel what the subscribers feel and like really be pressed and fight with this person. And it was over the top from the very beginning. Like, so over the top that it just was something that existed in like a Marvel comic book or a DC comic book for me. Like, I don't know how to take. Like, the only time this would get serious for me is if Fupa actually physically showed up in my space to antagonize and or to be violent with me. And that is like the only realm that I am absolutely willing to activate 100% seriousness in my being as it relates to him. Outside of a physical situation, I don't know how to make what he says mean anything to me. I don't know how to make all the name calling, the parking lot thotting. I don't know how to make it. I don't know how to create real feelings around it. I just don't. He is not real. This is like a Fupa is like a figment of our imagination. He's like a boogeyman, and like only some people see him. And even when they see him, like they see him out of the corner of their eye. Like, it's not even something that can be captured on surveillance or with Polaroid. It's just something ethereal and subjective. And I don't know, but the fact that he was willing to play like his YouTube games literally in federal court just topped it for me. I will never, like, if there was ever any opportunity for me to like put the seriousness on the shit, it now is a silk fate. Like, I know for sure that this fool is a fool. This is a like real life full-blooded fool. A fool. Like, just a fool. Like, bona fide laboratory tested fool. Like, the DNA samples will prove fool. Like, Mari will read off fool for the test results. Like, just goddamn fool. Like, that's it. Just a fucking fool. Like, now I know what a fool is. You know, I have called a lot of people fools in my life, but now that I've actually experienced a fool, they are a rare find. Because I have lived all 35 years of my life, and I thought I had experienced fools, but now that I actually have experienced fools, this is the only fool I've ever met. Not even met. I've never even met, but you know, like that showed up in my living experience of some kind. And it is really something to like wow at. It's like an eclipse that happens only every like 167 fucking years. Like, and you happen to be the generation that's going to see this unique eclipse like that. So to witness a fool is like, I've just really been in a scientific place, like just observing, like almost like a zoologist in the goddamn jungle. Like, whoa, the gazelle is, pumping out leaves into the mouths of its baby, like, like with the binoculars, like just more so as an observer, and I'm just like stunned psychologically. I am like just stunned I'm stunned at his existence. I'm stunned at his behavior. And I can't unstun myself because I've never seen anything remotely like this in my life. Like, it is very stunning. It's very stunning, and it's just stunning. My brain cannot even adjust. It's in the realm of stun. I'm just stunned. Fulium Major. He puts himself far out there. He can't find a way. Baby, there is no way back, Jessica. There's no way back, Mrs. Carter. It's cause I'm just like the fact that I got to be on this roller coaster with him for 2 years, like, I'm just the observer. I'm not even him. And my brain is in some like suspended place. So I can't even imagine what it's like to be the actual fool. Like, my brain can't even find anywhere to go. So I know he's like a wandering banshee spirit, like just wandering about, because there is no beginning or end. He's just he's in suspended animation, almost like he's in like a virtual reality within his reality. Like, y'all seen those new game consoles where you put the visor on, or like it looked like binoculars, but it's a gaming system, and it puts you like right into the 3D 4D reality and shit, so that you can really have that sensory experience of movement and shit. And Fupa has like a veil casted over him. Like, I really think that he's cursed. I mean, I've cursed him a few times since knowing, since he's came to my experience. But aside from that, like, it's clear to me that somebody else has put a bad root on him. Like, and it might be generational. It might be somebody might have cursed his lineage. Maybe cursed his great grandpappy, or maybe he fucked around in all his 50-something years of life and fucked around and fucked with the wrong person who put an old nasty piece of crippling root on his neck, because there is a veil. There's a veil there, and that veil is absolutely designed to destroy him. Because him existing and seeing things from the perspective of being veiled is leading to his demise. That's why he ended up in this position to begin with. And this is going to be horrendous. And this is just like, and we're talking about just what happens to him inside of the lawsuit context. Like, remove the lawsuit context. Like, the self-sabotage just has there's endless potential there. Endless potential. I mean, all the ways in which this could end for him, because he's just not paying attention. He's not looking both ways when he crossed the street, metaphorically speaking. He's just wide open, and it makes him susceptible to injury psychologically, emotionally, physically, and it makes him vulnerable. And the universe is going to bring this to an end in one way or another. I'll say that much. Like, the universe, like, if you're going to be this reckless in your emotion and mind, and you're like, the scriptures say, live by the sword, you die by the sword. Whether that's die spiritually, whether that's die literally, but that something fundamentally comes to an end, or comes to a point of irreversible judgment when you live this blindly. And that makes him dangerous. Just like a driving drunk is dangerous for everybody on the street, not just the driver, but everybody else on the road is in danger because of this reckless driver. And he's coming down a two-way street in oncoming traffic. Did he not get his channel yanked over the guns because no one reported it, or what? So I don't know if other people did report it, Paula. I know for me and Larry, we obviously have not ever really went for his platform, obviously, and we're both within total right to do so. I don't know if other people have tried to report him, so we don't do the reporting thing. Like, that's not Larry's style. That's not my style. It's reporting and flagging people shit. I just don't do that type of stuff, and Larry doesn't really do that type of stuff either. So I don't know. But those things are in violation of YouTube guidelines, and YouTube is going to be held accountable. That's where Larry's other lawyer, Andrew, is going to come in at. He's the expert in the litigations regarding like social media platforms and court orders, and like, knowing how to navigate those spaces, and knowing how to communicate with institutions and corporations as it relates to judgments, etc. So yeah, all of that is going to be dealt with in the end of all ends anyway. Everything you have named indicates exactly what he has claimed his Oh, really, Mom? I did not know that. What? Child, we're supposed to have an after show. I need to be getting this live and getting over into Patreon. I'm not surprised, Mom Goody. I've seen, these are familiar spirits. I've seen these spirits before. I've never seen it in the fullness thereof, like what's manifested in Fupa, but I've seen elements and aspects and variations of the fool ass spirit in other people, but never to this magnitude. This is like complete integration with the foolish spirit, like full integration, like almost like full possession. Deshawn says it literally has. He looks whooped down and tired all over something he started. Definitely M. Night Shyamalan vibe. My God, I'm guessing if it's good, if it's still up for evidentiary purposes, it might be. But you know, Fupa is all about smoking mirror shower. He probably done edited that shit out. But people do have his clips. We have clips of him brandishing weapons. I know that Miss Miko has a lot of that footage. I have a lot of that footage myself. So if it's not directly on his platform still, I mean, you know, we all have it. Tiptoe Through the Turnup says, hopefully this case doesn't fade into the background, but becomes a landmark case for cyberstalking and terroristic threats. Then he'll finally be famous. Yeah, it can be made. I mean, you know, it definitely sets a precedent for cyber bullying and social media, and it can act as a landmark. That'll just really be depend on probably depend largely on how much media is willing to cover what's going on and really like highlight those nuances. There's a pop quiz found in the lecture, so bleachers and push people pay attention to the professor. He probably using your channel for diagnosis. He's gonna want to use mental illness. I mean, honestly, like there's no win. I know people think that the mental illness and like, you know, claiming insanity and all that shit, like, is people have a false understanding of how that works. It literally does not make anything better. What it does is it'll soothe the criminal stuff, but it'll also like make the state pay a even more emphasized attention to his mental illness because it's leading to dangerous expression and behavior and acts which will alarm the state and make them press the gas. And so while it may soothe like a traditional reprimanding of trespassing and all of that shit and terroristic threats, he still will be dealt with and penalized, but it'll be in the context of mental health, and that is literally just as fucking like stifling. That's just as fucking bad because I mean, he's just going to be forced on medication, supervision. I mean, there's going to be so many. It's going to force him to calm down in a way that he's really not going to want to calm down because he loves the shits and the giggles. But once again, once the state gets involved with shit like this, like you are going to get with the program and they will deal with you until your death and make sure that you are following suit with that program, whether you like it or not. And so while he may be thinking that like it's going to make a fucking difference, it's just going to really, they just going to make him swallow all the pills he ain't swallowing willfully. And they're going to make him, and he won't be able to get online and do any of the shit that he's doing either. It like the mental illness claim actually is what could double reinforce a injunction and a ban from social media altogether. It's not something, it's just not something that would help him. Like, it's not, the state isn't going to be like, oh, you're mentally ill, that makes this make sense, go home. It's like, oh my goodness, you're mentally ill and your mental illness is causing you to do very dangerous things, and you're being a nuance and a distraction, and you're being and you're victimizing other people as a result of poor mental health, as a result of a lack of self-control, as a result of blah 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 blah. And the state has to protect him just as much as they have to protect us as citizens from people like him who think that they're going to walk around and not get psychiatric treatment and not be on their meds and not operate accordingly. And mental illness is not an excuse to get away with debauchery. So he's living in the wrong fucking country if he thinks that a mental illness claim is going to somehow have him just coming home a free man. Like, they're gonna rip his ass a fucking new one. We'd be off from social media 100%, period. He could lie his way into making people think he is mentally ill and could actually have it overtake him. You can also start off as a fucking lie and then, yep, get swallowed up in that shit. It can become real. But I don't think Fupa is lying, though. He actually exhibits everything that he admits, and then there's probably some other undiagnosed shit that is going on too, that even though he ain't been diagnosed with, I can see it actively on his ass. So I hope that and not that I hope, but he's definitely a narcissistic, bipolar ass person. I mean, we have been able to see all that for ourselves, like the fluctuating and shit, like the emotions, the erratic, like sadness, and then the like, Buzz Lightyear to the rescue ass energy 2 minutes later. Like, it's just everything. Like, his pendulum swings from the left and to the right. There's like really no middle. It's just extreme in either direction. Like, his truth is extreme, his lies are extreme, his behaviors are extreme. Just everything is like turned up to the max. Hey D-Car, what's going on, love? Mom Goody says, believe it or not, most bipolar people are quite intelligent. Yet now, intelligence and mental illness are not synonymous with each other. There are brilliant artists and musicians, philosophers, scientists, teachers, etc., who have had what the medical community calls mental illnesses. Being schizophrenic will not prohibit you from being it doesn't prohibit you from being an intellectual or suffering from depression and various things. Untreated mental illness can just lead to an injurious lifestyle. But if people get ahead, if people, take care of themselves like they should, then their mental illness never has to drive them. They will be able to navigate and be in control. Also depending on the severity of the fucking mental illness. But if you take care of yourself, it's not something that has to collapse. Like in Fupa's case, if he would have sat down on a couch a long time ago, he wouldn't have ever had got here to begin with. Had he actually dealt with a trauma expert and really got him like some psychotherapist and really underwent some deep counseling that deals with sociopathic and narcissistic personality types and got properly medicated and got properly supervised to make sure that he was, tending to his counseling sessions and mental health and medicines the way he need to, he could have been living a whole different reality. I don't even know if we would have ever even known this aspect of Fupa. This is something that could have been avoided, but something that's getting out of hand because he doesn't take care of himself. And social media rewards people for behaving badly. So, he's in a whole self-sabotage mode. It's nuts. Now you are not going into Patreon yawning. I'm not. I'm mad. That should have ended. I'm about to end this shit now. If we go into I'm still willing to go into Patreon, but y'all can do all the talking, honey. I done said all I need to say, honey. I will let y'all up I would love to hear what you guys have to say about Larry's mediation. What, you know, just what y'all feel like. What are y'all thoughts? You know, y'all been riding with us with all this. I'm interested to know what is everybody thinking and feeling as it relates to, you know, what I laid out here today. I know I'm tired. I'm moving. Like, I got all this fucking furniture and painting rooms, and it's just like, child, it's been a lot. And also just maintaining my goddamn social media life. And I think we're supposed to be doing 2 Men and a Lady tomorrow with Wiley. I don't even know, like, if how I may try to throw something together to set up something that allows me to film, but I might be a fucking avatar tomorrow, and we got the Yes God Roundtable tomorrow as well. So I'm probably going to be avatared up. I didn't want to be. I like being visual, but yeah, I definitely am tired. But I mean, work is work. Mr. Larry Reid is doing and suing tour. Yes, honey, he gotta gather the hands. He gotta gather the mother loving hands, honey. The plea of insanity only makes one's life. It does. If he's not really mentally ill, he will be. That's what I said. If he not, something definitely is fucking wrong. It's just, it's not possible that nothing is wrong. Something is definitely wrong. But I think, yeah, I mean, obviously this process will exacerbate whatever potential for mental illness that already is there is going to be exacerbated through a process like this. And he's already somebody who's not taking care of himself. So boom. Especially after hitting a child, should have been court ordered for the rest of her low life. Well, according to word on the curb, child, allegedly he took a plea deal. So them plea deals, you know, they allow for some interesting maneuvering around severe penalty and shit. I don't know who the fuck this is, but this is my commentary, chow. This was an update. This was a good update, honey. We did a little bit of dragging, a little bit of toe tagging, and got into the minutia of things, honey. Let me see here. What is tomorrow? Since tomorrow is going to be a full social media day, because I think we're doing 2 Men and Lady at 3, and then the Yes God Roundtable at 8. I think I will go live in a Patreon tomorrow. I'm going to give me some rest tonight. Go live in a Patreon tomorrow. I'll let this dialogue simmer and let other people catch up with the dialogue too, who wasn't able to be a part of the live stream, and then we can go into Patreon and have a follow-up after show conversation, because it's no, we gotta have an after show, if not tonight, definitely tomorrow, because it's something else, child, that I wanna play for y'all, but I'm gonna play it in Patreon, and it's something that, yeah, it's something that I want y'all to hear, honey. So after show, yes, we're going to see a Brown. Oh, you're going to see a Browns game tomorrow. Okay, cool. Y'all be safe. Y'all gonna get some rest. Let's pussy pop on out the building, child. Mediation December the 6th. You guys know I will be keeping y'all updated. There's going to be some documentations dropping into the Patreon on Monday or either Tuesday morning, depending on how quick Pacer is with they shits. So be looking for some paperwork to drop. There's going to be a Patreon live tomorrow to follow up this dialogue. So let's say 5-ish tomorrow. Patreon live. I'm going to drop the link. You guys come up and talk to me about what you feel about mediation, and you know, if y'all feel that the mediation and where Larry's willing to compromise feels just, or whether y'all feel like Larry is underselling himself and should, you know, go full Dark Phoenix on Fupa. We'll talk about it in the Patreon. If you're not in the Patreon, get your ass in the fucking Patreon. Get that play-by-play. All the court documents regarding this case, the Dewey case. When I was running down on McCrae, there's all type of lives and shit up in there. There's a lot going on in the Patreon. So we will be loud we will be live and in color tomorrow, but not on YouTube and Patreon. So let's go ahead and pussy pop, honey. Keep your candles lit. Okay, stay in prayer, stay safe, wear your mask, social distance. If you're going to take the jab, just make sure that it's something that you're well informed about, honey. And if you're not participating in the jab, like I'm not, kudos to you as well. And I just pray for everybody's safety. Long as everybody's making an informed decision for themselves, you know, the choice is in, you know, each individual's hands. I would not tell anybody what to do as it relates to something like this, because the stakes are just too high in all directions. And I just think people just need to make their own choice for their own bodies and their own health, and just do what ultimately they feel is freaking best. On that note, thank you to everybody cash apping, because I'm getting cash apps coming through as well. Thank y'all. I don't even know what the fuck my phone is, but I will shout out you guys tomorrow. I do hear my cash app going the hell off. But I love you guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Hey, what's up, Larry, baby? Listen, this is just a little remix to remind you that you are still the shiznit. So don't even worry about Darryl Mother Bomb and his B-Team minions, because you had a purpose before they even had an opinion. You still got much love out here, and you are still winning. So let those haters hate, and let those trolls troll. They are just mad because they will never ever rise to your level. Y'all haters ain't on his 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 level. You ain't on his level. Here we go. We're gonna start with Darryl Moore. You ain't on his level. And I'll say your name, cause from the pits of the hell you came. You's a dirty old man. You came up with a lame ass plan. You tried to take Larry down, with the proof that was unfound. Shame on you. Find something else better to do. Cause that same ditch that you dig in is the same ditch your ass gonna fall in. You recruited Earl and his dumb ass ain't no smarter. And as a matter of fact, I think you want Larry's feet in your crack. Damn! Marcellus, looking like Hannibal Buress. You're always making threats, but ain't never done a damn thing yet. Ain't you that gutter snake who made fun of Larry's rape? You'll say it ain't so, but when we saw you on a video, shut the hell up and sip your tea, because a badass you'll never be. All you do is talk shit with that lame ass 18 clip. And now we got big little Kim, who really just wants to sit in. I won't go in on you, sis, but you're so much better than this. And Roxanne, Darryl don't want to be your man. He is just using you, because he needs a thinking of you. Y'all haters ain't on his level. Black Mr. Clean. Y'all haters ain't on his level. Whoever the hell y'all be, you ain't on his level. Y'all the biggest haters I ever seen. Y'all niggas ain't on his level. Y'all haters ain't on his level. You ain't on his level. Y'all haters ain't on his level. Y'all haters ain't on his level. Y'all haters ain't on his level. You ain't on his level. Y'all haters ain't on his level. Y'all niggas ain't on his level. Y'all haters ain't on his level. You will never be on his level. Hey, you ain't on his level. You tried it though. Gotta give you an A for effort, but you really got an E for epic failure. No go crying.